that. You're going to poke
fundamentally
everywhere.
right about that.
Poke. And now, oh, I'm the victim. Get lost.
No one's saying she's a victim. She's just
saying she's a victim.
Look,
I'm a battered woman. Like, shut up. You've been trolling people for 4 years.
So you're like, take the L. She's like, I'm done. You called me a traitor.
It's funny, with the execution of Democrats, it's funny.
The sombrero thing, like, I would, like, if I put the sombrero on you, I think it's hysterical.
Why?
I think it's funny. I think it's fun. I think he's making fun of his opponent.
Between...
For no reason. So, like...
Well, she learned it from Trump.
Yeah, like,
Trump posts AI videos of Obama being arrested. Trump posts videos of Hakeem Jeffries in a sombrero. Trump says that Democrats should be executed. Marjorie Taylor Greene's style is downstream from Trump's style. It's not unique in any way.
She attacked the president.
On the Epstein files?
On the Epstein files, on the economy, and you know what?
I think she attacked the president because he was trying to stymie the release of the files that were going to expose.
Well, let's be clear. President Trump is the Epstein files. So to pretend like Donald Trump is like, oh my God, the Epstein files can never come out. He's done more than Joe Biden did in 4 years.
He's done more to embarrass himself. Remember that clip where he's like, are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? Remember when he said that? This is a guy who just is running away from his past. I mean,
signed the bill and we'll find out what's happening. But
after he pried it out of his mouth.
It was the Republican Party who ran on releasing the Epstein file. It was the Republican Party who, with the exception of one dope,
blew up in their face,
voted unanimously, and the president signed the bill. So we're going to have that conversation's over.
Is that people like Nick Fuentes or this America First movement are now going to be hardcore lobbying to get Marjorie Taylor Greene on their side, which will only accelerate this MAGA divide between a more, I don't know, anti-Israel, a more really populist movement.
Hello, everybody. Guys, we got Mini MAGA, Sid the Sloth, and Humpty Dumpty. Let's get into this segment and we'll talk about it. Sorry, Abby, I didn't mean to put that face on you.
The breaking news tonight is MAGA cracking. One of the president's most loyal followers for a decade says that she is resigning from Congress after a bitter fallout with President Trump. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene has been very vocal about what she thinks the president is doing wrong lately, from the economy to trying to get the Epstein files hidden. And in turn, Trump has called her a traitor and unendorsed her ahead of a primary. Well, now Greene says that she is resigning effective January. And here are some of the reasons why.
Loyalty should be a two-way street, and we should be able to vote our conscience. America first should mean America first and only Americans first. Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States. I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better.
An extraordinary development for one of the main characters of the Trump era, frankly. And I should just note, just a few minutes ago over at ABC, Rachel Scott spoke to President Trump, and he called Marjorie Taylor Greene's resignation great news for the country. He said she didn't give him any heads up about it. Joe, I mean, can you imagine that this has ended this way? And is this a sign that MAGA is really starting to crack up over many things, but perhaps the Epstein files being one of the biggest things?
I definitely didn't have Trump getting along with Mom Donnie and him being against Marjorie Taylor Greene on my bingo card going into...
Yeah, none of us did.
None of us probably did. But I'm one of those people who is not entirely upset to see her go. You called her a character just now. You basically phrased her as a character. I think after 4 years in Congress, you either have to make the choice, have you become a statesman or a stateswoman, or have you become a cartoon character? And I think she realized that she was going down that latter path. She tried to rebrand herself. Remember, I mean, you're not a conservative in going on The View unless you're trying to remake yourself as this new person. She's tried to go on The View. She tried to say that she's no longer this divisive person, but someone who made a career of only being divisive to be divisive. I just think it's going to be no hard loss on the Republican Party.
I feel like that was fine when she was supporting Trump, but now all of a sudden it's not.
It's like Marjorie Taylor Greene is realizing for the first time what it's like to be on the opposition side of Trump. She has clapped him on for years as he has over and over used the same vile rhetoric towards Democrats, towards other Republicans. But now she takes a principled stance for the first time and decides, I'm going to split with him on the Epstein files. And he goes scorched earth, calls her Marjorie Taylor Greene, unendorses her over and over.
Brown. He changed her.
It was so lazy, too. He says, because green grass turns brown. This guy's losing his juice. But the point is, Donald Trump has kicked so many people out of public life because they don't want to be the subject of his ire. This is what Mike Pence has gone through. This is what Liz Cheney has gone through. This is what Alyssa Slotkin is going through right now. He calls Marjorie a traitor, says he wants to execute or hang Democrats. And now Marjorie...
You've answered the question that you asked about whether MAGA is fracturing. The truth is MAGA is not fracturing. If Donald Trump couldn't simply unendorse someone and that'll eliminate her chances of being there, that's only only because the majority of people, whether they're in her Georgia district or elsewhere in the country, are going to follow President Trump.
Well, it hasn't eliminated her chance. She did get an endorsement the first time.
This is an entrenchment of MAGA,
She wasn't endorsed the first time by Trump,
a
by the way.
fracturing.
Do we think that this is...
Yeah, I don't know what Humpty Dumpty is talking about. You guys loved it when she was chasing down and harassing David Hogg after he saw his classmates get slaughtered in that school shooting. Unforgivable to me. Loved it when she was calling for Democrats to be executed for treason. Yep, she said that herself. Said black people are slaves to the Democratic Party. How about the constant use of the term jihad squad? Like, I wonder why they were targeted. The same four people: AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and Ayanna Pressley. I wonder why. And how do I know that conservatives loved it this entire time? Guys, you know that she's the biggest fundraiser for the Republicans? Or at least she was one of the biggest. Yep, the lady that said all those things and much more. But Humpty Dumpty pretends she was so vile and divisive. We never liked her anyways. Humpty Dumpty, you fell off the wall on that one.
End of her political career?
I don't think so, but people are saying that. And you said that she tried to rebrand herself. I think that she's tried to rebrand herself a few times since she's been in office. Whether it was, okay, I believe in conspiracy theories first, and then I want to be a team player, and now she's rebranding herself, which to me isn't her being a character. It's actually her saying, for whatever reasons, it's actually her saying, I'm caring about the people that I represent. I'm looking for my constituency, and I want to help them. So I don't think her career is over. However, this is highly unusual. It does not happen. And if it does happen, it's usually because somebody is sick or there's something else going on. And in my opinion, like, I truly believe she has a future, a bright future. Where she lands, who knows? But she did this knowing full well what it meant. I don't think that she took this lightly and said, I'm leaving, because I just feel like leaving.
But there are other cracks in the MAGA coalition right now.
Yeah.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is not just talking about the Epstein files, which is a big issue, and the entirety of the House and the Senate, save for one person, voted to release them, which, despite Trump flip-flopping at the last minute, he clearly doesn't want these files out because he's been very opposed to it. But the economy, she's been saying, and she said in her video tonight, the economy is not working for regular people. Prices are too high. Not enough has been done about it. She doesn't think that the president is addressing that issue. And more Republicans are starting to say that too. So there are some cracks. And is Trump going to actually address that, or is he just going to go scorched earth on everyone?
So I don't think that is a crack in the MAGA coalition and the MAGA party. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene identified legitimate frustrations that not only MAGA and conservatives have, but anybody who wants their government to actually function. Everybody has those same concerns because the gridlock in Congress has gotten to a point where nothing gets done. And I think what Marjorie Taylor Greene is also hitting on, frustration-wise, is that we have a Republican majority, we have a trifecta. What have we gotten from it? There are Republican voters, low-propensity Republican voters. They don't like to turn out. Democrats turn out better. And they turned out last November. They delivered this majority. What do we have to show for it right now?
And why are we still arguing? Why are we so mad?
Wouldn't Republicans say, oh, well, it's the tax cuts? I mean, I think this kind of puts that strategy right squarely on the table.
Yeah.
The tax cuts were what they spent all of their political capital on in this year. And voters are basically still saying they don't think that they're better off.
Well, and I think voters are saying that they're not better off when they think of one of the reasons Donald Trump appealed to people last election is people remember 2017 through 2019 under President Trump prior to pandemic, what the economy felt like. Things are trending in the right direction under Donald Trump, but that is not to say that there are still pains.
By what indicator?
For example, the wages, your average paycheck can pay for 1% more. Now, I'm not saying, wow, looky us, 1% more. What I'm saying, though, is that is an indicator things are trending in the right direction, but it's not tangible. People don't feel it. And if Republicans cannot bring tangible solutions by November, they're going to lose.
Can I hop in on...
Unemployment rate ticked up. She's, I think, lying. So I disagree what Carrie said there earlier. I just don't think Marjorie ever cared about her constituents or her voters. It was all self-promotion for her. She did nothing for those people. Instead, she voted for the big, beautiful bill that gave her a gigantic tax break as a millionaire, multi-millionaire. She knew all those cuts to SNAP and Medicare. It was the big topic at the time, widely reported. Someone in my comments said, in her defense, she said she didn't know. Like, Diablo, don't be so gullible. Of course she's going to say that after realizing how pissed people were after the fact and about affordability. She's a politician. Don't forget that. Like, she has a staff. I don't want to hear she didn't know. She's lying. She's an effing liar, as long as it benefits her. Her resigning, to me, is likely about she went against daddy, and now it's going to be hell for her for 3 years. She didn't get the endorsement for Senate. She was pissed about that. She didn't get a cabinet position, so she was like, F this dude. In my perspective, guys, it's all self-serving for her. It's about her and what she can get for herself.
The MAGA fracture really quickly, because one point that I think you missed is that people like Nick Fuentes or this America First movement are now going to be hardcore lobbying to get Marjorie Taylor Greene on their side, which will only accelerate this MAGA divide between a more, I don't know, anti-Israel, a more really populist movement versus now what's kind of becoming like the MAGA establishment, which is weird. So Nick Fuentes, he's a legitimate political operator. I know that he's like a hugely divisive dude online, but he is trying to make moves to gain leverage over the Republican Party. There's a very real chance that he capitalizes on this in such a way that Marjorie is then in his camp. I don't think that would be good for the current MAGA establishment.
I think the fact that she is actually resigning and talking bad about, in the sense of like, I'm out of here. It is a fracture. This is a huge fracture. You can't say that this person who was so loyal to him isn't a fracture. Trending in the right direction, someone would disagree with that. They'd ask about affordability and groceries and all of the things that we're going to talk about, obviously. But you can't, people are not feeling that way right now.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree, but I do think when we're talking about trending in the right direction, you know, you're trending in the right direction when inflation is down under this president compared to last. Those are things that are moving in a positive direction. But I'm not disagreeing that the average Republican out there is saying, my grocery bills aren't going down that much, my gas bills haven't changed that much, so what are Republicans
We'll
doing?
talk a lot more about the economy in a little bit. I want to play a little bit more what Marjorie Taylor Greene has been saying lately. This was on Sunday. She was talking about the political climate that she's in. Listen.
I would like to say.
Shut up, Marjorie. I just have to say this. Damn, Poppy, guys, I like Adam, but he does this sanitizing that is just insane to me. I like the kid. Adam, it's not populist. What are you talking about? Nick Fuentes' movement, it's a Nazism movement. It's purely identity for Nick Fuentes and his minions. Foundational, it's all bigotry. It's pure white, good, everyone else bad. Especially Jewish people, at least that's their main target at the moment. That's foundational to what their movement is about. It's about white men. They despise women as well. Like he said, he loves Hitler, he loves Stalin, and that women like to be raped. I mean, countless nasty things about black people and immigrants and so on and so on. Populist? Really? You think this is the way you should describe this guy? The Groypers are populist? Diablo. Guys, even the Groypers will laugh at that description of them. And I think you're just doing them a favor, cleaning up their image like this and making them more palatable almost. Like, and he did the same thing with Charlie Kirk and said that he was a bulwark or a wall against anti-Semitism, which of course I get what he meant, because Charlie was so bigoted to every other single other group of people that weren't Jews. In my view, I think that made him more of a gateway drug, a pathway to thinking, wait, why don't we also hate the Jewish people? We hate everyone else, and bingo, this is what you got. I just don't get this over sanitization of these people. That's why nothing gets resolved, because you won't even identify the issues properly. Again, I like Adam, but this is some bull.
Say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another.
So, Joe, I mean, I really want to know your kind of analysis of that. Do you believe that's genuine? Do you see why she would take that stance and then decide, I can't battle it out in a Republican primary? Trump's going to be sicking like 5 or 6 people on me in the primary. No, thank you.
This is someone who probably went home to her district, you know, over the last shutdown, looked around and realized that in 4 years in the House of Representatives, she has made almost no impact for her constituents. She has been divisive for the sake of being divisive.
But that has never been a problem. I mean, explain that to me.
That's true, too.
But hold on.
But I've also never said that she's this great person.
But don't you think
it's not that
her voters have never been, if that is true, I think Democrats would argue that is true, Republicans historically have not said that about her, but if that is true, and her voters didn't really care until this moment, what does that say?
Look, what I was going to say is compare her to someone like Jim Jordan, who some people find abrasive. But his pugilistic style is to come with facts. He brings receipts, and maybe he rubs people the wrong way. But there's intention there, and there's a rationale. She just trolled people. She spent 4 years in the House of Representatives troll people for no reason. So, like,
well, she learned it from Trump.
Yeah,
Trump posts AI videos of Obama being arrested. Trump posts videos of Hakeem Jeffries in a sombrero. Trump says
what's so different?
Marjorie Taylor Greene's style is downstream from Trump's style. It's not unique in any way.
Trump does all those funny things with an objective.
They're not funny. Wait, the execution of Democrats is funny.
The sombrero thing, like I would, like if I could put the sombrero on you.
Shutdown?
I think it's hysterical. Yeah,
Why?
I think it's funny.
What's
I think it's fun. I think he's
so
making
what's
fun
the
of his
difference
opponents.
between what she does and what Trump does?
Exactly, you're defending it.
I think she does it for no purpose and for no gain, and she has nothing to show for it.
What's his
All right,
purpose?
we're gonna hit pause on this, and we'll continue to talk after the break. Another guest is gonna join.
We're going to continue that conversation right now.
You, Adam, you were saying that Marjorie Taylor Greene is downstream of the kind of politics that Trump made a thing in America, and now she's gone.
Yeah, Joe keeps trying to draw this distinction where Marjorie Taylor Greene is some character, but Trump isn't somehow. I just think that Marjorie Taylor Greene's style of divisive politics is directly downstream from how Donald Trump entered the political stage. He said that Obama wasn't born in America, Hillary should be locked up. His entire political rise was through divisiveness, and Marjorie hopped on that train and was very divisive, and she's now switching that now that she's the ire of the MAGA, or sorry, the subject of the MAGA ire, she's switching her position and saying that I can't take this. I mean, this is what so many Democrats have been through. So
what happened first?
What do you mean?
Did she switch her politics because she was the ire? Or did she become the ire after she switched
That's
her
a good
politics?
point.
Well, I mean, I think it depends on who you ask. I mean, she definitely started voicing these concerns earlier.
Correct.
And then it built and it built and it built until Trump finally lashed out. Now, so Laura Loomer tonight is saying that two things. One, she thinks that Marjorie Taylor Greene wants Democrats to have an upper hand because they're down a seat now in the House. But the other thing is that she thinks that Marjorie Taylor Greene might run for president in 2028.
That's entirely possible. I think the most interesting part of her speech describing why she's leaving politics, at least for the moment, is her projection that the Republicans are going to lose control of the House, that there will be
that Trump will be impeached.
Yeah, that there will be an impeachment. I mean, she foresees, or she's forecasting really dire times ahead for the MAGA movement, and I don't know if she's wrong about that. This is something that people should really take to heart, where she's saying, like, listen, if everything was going swimmingly well and we were going to maintain control and everything was going to be fine, I might stay, but that's not going to happen. And now would be a good time. She's sort of the canary in the coal.
Right, she's the first, right? And it's always hard to be the first. I think there are other people who feel this exact same way, and they have to see how this plays out for her before they also decide to do exactly what she did. Not necessarily with the same actual script or theater of it all, but I could see this happening because it's hard to be the first. You understand that in many ways.
I think to your point, actually.
Shut up, Sid. This is the thing. I'm not sure what Marjorie Taylor Greene's plan is. I don't think she has a chance in hell to win the presidency. She's just been way too vile and noxious. And she doesn't have that, I don't want to say charm, but charisma that Trump has. And on top of that, I don't think she could win the Republican nomination. They despise women over there, especially in a leadership position. They think women should always service men. So a cabinet position, sure, but never to run the country. I just don't see that. Especially now that the MAGA cultists are pissed at her. Like Humpty Dumpty and Minnie MAGA, Sid the Sloth, those kinds of people, they're not happy with her. So I don't know what her plan is. Right? And like the movement is moving even further right, further away from the thought of a woman being a leader. So I just don't see that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about that. I saw some things about maybe she was threatened, like her life, and that's why she was leaving early. But if that was the case, I thought about it, she wouldn't mention Epstein and talking about being a battered wife if she was threatened, right? I don't know. Like she just did in her goodbye video? I don't know.
If Marjorie Taylor Greene is bowing out now, because, and I do think that she's right to foresee Republicans have a really good chance losing the House, and if they do, Donald Trump will certainly face some kind of impeachment inquiry. If she's bailing out now because it's going to get tough, that is not someone who is a leader. That's someone who buckles under pressure. So I actually don't think that would bode well for a 2028 presidential run, trying to explain to voters, like, yeah, I bowed out because there was some pressure on me. I couldn't withstand it, but I want to also now be president. So I do think that'll be hard to navigate.
The pressure were death threats coming from the MAGA fan base. And like, as much
She's
as
been swatted several times by Democrats.
As much as I disagree with Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think this is more of an example of leadership than just going along with the flow of whatever Donald Trump wants. I think she's differentiating herself, and she's trying to carve at least her own lane. And I think that it's at least respectful.
I mean, she has been such a warrior for the MAGA movement and for President Trump personally, and then for her to then say, look, I'm thinking about running for governor, I'm thinking about running for senator, and it turns out, as we all know, the loyalty flows one way with Donald Trump. There's no reciprocal loyalty. She's got plenty of reasons to want to change where she is and what she's doing. I mean, and that's...
We have seen people leave the MAGA tent before. She's not less conservative. You know, she's still extremely...
Who has gone on to have a successful career? Kinzinger,
nobody.
Liz Cheney. I mean, this is sort of the kiss of death.
A lot of them are hiding.
I mean, but again, to go back to my point, it's not a fracture of the MAGA movement. It's not a fracture of the Republican Party. When you cross the Republican Party, apparently there's no room for you, and she's realized that, and now she's sayonara.
What did she cross the Republican Party on mainly?
Look, I mean, she's attacked the president. She attacked the president.
On the Epstein files?
On the Epstein files, on the economy, and you know what?
I think she attacked the president because he was trying to stymie the release of the files that were going to expose.
Well, let's be clear. President Trump is the one who's actually delivering transparency that Biden could have done in 4 years and didn't do on the Epstein files. So to pretend like Donald Trump is like, oh my God, the Epstein files can never come out. He's done more than Joe Biden did in 4 years.
He's done more to embarrass himself. Remember that clip where he's like, are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? Remember when he said that? This is a guy who just...
That clip is hilarious. Are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Is running away from his past. I mean, he does not want to be transparent.
Well, thankfully he signed the bill, and we'll find out what's happening. But
after he pried it out of his mouth.
It was the Republican Party who ran on releasing the Epstein file. It was the Republican Party who, with the exception of one dope,
it blew up in their face.
Voted unanimously, and the president signed the bill. So we're going to have that conversation's over.
You were saying
until the files come out.
She attacked the president on the economy. You could also argue that on both of these things, she was actually trying to help the president.
Correct.
By basically saying, hey, Mr. President, you're in danger. Okay, that this is a problem, a political problem that you need to address, because what she was saying is that what I'm hearing from my constituents is that they're actually concerned about costs. And Trump didn't want to listen to that until recently, until the off-year elections that we had earlier this month.
There's no doubt that the Republicans internally are talking about messaging going into next year's election. There's no question about that. There's no question, and we've seen it in the president's rhetoric and some of the strategic changes on the tariffs, that they are concerned that affordability will be an issue. So I don't fault her for having that idea. It's taking the fight public.
Well, what was she supposed to do? Is he someone who's going to listen to her?
Did she
if she called him,
public?
like, do you think that she didn't call him on the phone or try to
him,
let him? Do you think she tried it behind the scenes? Do you think this is the first time they've ever had this conversation?
Well, look,
so because she couldn't get anywhere and she took it public, this is the problem.
I mean, one of the things that really, I can't get out of my head is that she said in her video, I refuse to be a battered woman.
Correct, which means I've been dealing with this stuff behind the scenes more than what we probably even know.
Honestly, it kind of suggested to me that there's something... I think it's easy to be cynical and political about every little thing that happens in politics, but sometimes people are humans and they just can't take it anymore.
That's it.
Oh, that's right.
And it feels to me like she actually got to a limit of what she felt like she
You're
could
talking
take.
about her humanity,
This is why I don't like her.
and that is correct.
She's a troll, and then it comes on her, and now she's the victim.
Hey, I'm not.
I got no
Joe,
time for
honestly,
this.
I'm not arguing with Joe about that though,
I got
because
no time for people like that.
I think that Joe actually probably is
I got no
fundamental.
time
Big
for
Joe.
You're going to
He's
poke
fundamentally
everywhere.
right about that.
Poke. And now, oh, I'm the victim? Get lost.
No one's saying she's a victim. She's just
saying she's a victim.
Look,
I'm a battered woman. Like,
we're
shut
not
up.
saying
You've been
she's
trolling people for 4 years.
So you're like, take the L.
For 4
But
years.
she's
And
like,
now a battered woman.
I'm done. You called me a traitor. Bet. I tried to help you. I came to you. I wanted to give you what it was. We don't even know. By the way, a lot of us don't even know. We're speculating on what she said behind the scenes.
Yo, Humpty is cooking. He's right, guys. Guys, he's cooking. He was cooking there. Humpty is so happy because he knows he's right on that one. He was so confident saying that. I mean, he ain't wrong. He ain't wrong on that one, guys. Humpty is back on the wall on that one. That was hilarious. He's right. She's been a troll this entire time, and now she finally got some of it, and she's like, oh, no, I don't want any more of this divisiveness around this country, like when she was a main proponent of it. He ain't wrong.
I don't think
she showed us the text. I mean,
but she didn't show you everything. I mean, come on.
There's a humiliation ritual that Donald Trump makes a lot of his subordinates go through, right? And some people handle it better than others. You look at the way that he's fired people publicly, that he's insulted their appearance, that look at what he did to Chris Christie, other people who have tried to help him, both in the first term and now. And she's just decided she doesn't want to do it anymore. And that's just a very human response. Not everybody is cut out.
Well, Chris Christie didn't take the message the first time. He came back, and then he got
people
kicked
swallow
to the
as much
curb
as
again.
they can. And
So
you never know how
we
much.
shall see.
Not
This
nice.
is certainly one of the more fascinating developments. Next for us, Trump.
Yeah, I can't believe Humpty was cooking there. I can't believe I'm saying that. But I don't trust that creature one bit. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she would have to do a whole lot of repenting. Maybe insurmountable. I don't know. I can be forgivable depending on how far you can go. But in all honesty, I'm happy she's gone. And would like to see the rest of those cycles in the Republican Party to drop like flies as well. At least that's my perspective on it. Can't get anything done when you have these sociopaths on the other side. Can't meet these people halfway. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Please leave a like, subscribe. Really helps the channel. Really helps push the message out there. And I'll catch you on the next one.